Hi and welcome back to the channel. We are continuing 1899. This is season 1, episode 5, titled The Calling. But before we get into it, I do want to let you guys know that this video is once again sponsored by Movie Palette. You can see this beautiful painting behind us here. You can get one just like it or another movie, each line representing a scene, and the color in each line is like the dominant color from each scene. This one is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, because we just absolutely love that movie and we thought that it looked absolutely beautiful. You can get one of your own, or you can maybe buy it as a gift for someone with the Christmas right around the corner. And you can also use a promo code SPIDER15 to get 15% off of your purchase. There's going to be a link down in the description and also in a pinned comment, so you can just click that link, go over there, find the one that you think is the coolest or the one that you want the most or you want to buy as a gift, as I said, and then use that promo code, again, SPIDER15, to get 15% off of your purchase. But all right, let's get into this. The last one was the fight where Eben threw the boy overboard, and then he came right back, teleported right back into the similar cupboard that like they found him in on the Prometheus. So just still a lot of mysterious stuff going on, and can't wait to continue this crazy story. Is there anything you want to say before we do?
We have a fussy baby currently, and someone to hopefully take care of it. But if there seems to be like disruptions, or if especially me, if I seem distracted, just know that it's a crying baby.
Yeah. You might even be able to hear the little one crying in the background. Hopefully not. He's just
He's at that point where I think he's starting to develop some separation anxiety, and also getting very frustrated when he gets overtired, and he doesn't want to sleep when he gets tired, so he's fighting it, and then it's just like a black
oh yeah, the joys of being new parents. Although it is a joy most of the time.
Yeah,
definitely. Can also be taxing, but that's a part of it. It is what it is. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like, comment, all that good stuff. Check out the Patreon where you can watch full-length reactions and support the channel in that way. We really appreciate all the support. Let's jump into it. Here we go.
Okay, jeg går altså lige ned.
Ja. Nu, så er introen i hvert fald out of the way.
Yeah. Okay, so no one was telling her to wake up. She's been telling the other people to wake up.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Wake up. Oh, there it is.
Wake up.
Oh, well, she told herself. But that's
What?
the
That's
same
exactly.
Are you insane? You can't just lock him in there.
Okay, like the theories are just flying around in my head right now.
Who are you really?
So breaking the fourth wall there, kind of.
I think things are about to get really weird.
Mm-hmm. I know I've said this before, but it feels like this is going to be even more convoluted than Dark.
Possibly. So it was like as soon as she got that injection, she woke up on the ship again. So again, does that reinforce the theory that everything is actually happening at an insane asylum and this is one big shared thought experiment, or what? Yeah. And now with the cabos that they're on looking so much like the Prometheus, and they're doing the same thing with like locking the kid in there and in the exact same way, same place.
Lyset vil altid sejre. Vi kommer ikke til at overgive os. Selv hvis det betyder flere tab.
She is determined.
De stemmer, hun hører, det er ikke Guds stemme. Hun har skabt sin egen verden. Sin egen sandhed. Vi har bare fulgt med hende. Men at høre stemmer er ikke et tegn på Gud. Det er et tegn på galskab.
Dissociation.
What are you saying?
Dissociation.
Og det er ikke fordi, du ikke har slået nogen ihjel før.
Alrighty.
Det var noget andet.
What happened?
Rape?
Du lovede mig, at vi ville forlade dem sammen.
Perhaps like a defense.
Hvad laver du?
Og jeg skulle have gjort det for lang tid siden.
What?
Skyd mor.
Shoot your mom? Oh, okay.
Hey, ikke skyd. Du må ikke skyde. Jeg har fået hjælp.
Anyone here can translate that? What the shit? You got powers? Or is this once again because it's all happening inside your head? Or oh, yeah, like Quicksilver in Days of Future Past. Oh, but he's still.
That was you, wasn't it?
Oh, did he do it? Yeah.
Did that thing do this? You tell me what's going on. Now. Talk to me.
Come on. Still, not a word. He was willing to sacrifice his life, Daniel.
Mm-hmm. Looks like he would have been a bit too late, perhaps.
Yep, oh yeah, definitely. Can't move faster than a bullet.
They've been firing the furnaces full speed since yesterday. If they keep going like that, we run out of coal in the next 2 days. We'll be lost in the ocean.
Oh, shit.
We need to ration the coal until we find land.
He's right. We need to take the ship back under control.
The fuck? All the NPCs are just moving in unison
well,
here?
There's a guy in the back that seemed like a person we really haven't.
Oh. Her as well? Shit, this is weird and spooky.
Is he hearing it too, or
Is he doing it? No.
no? I think he's hearing it.
And he's also... Shit.
Him too.
No!
Where do you think you're going?
But how, like, it's like some of them... Whoa, I don't know what happened there. I'm just gonna take that again. Some of them are reacting to it and some of them aren't.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
How about following them, seeing where they're going? Are they just going overboard now?
No. They're all just gonna jump?
And that's why there are no people in the Prometheus?
Is the same thing happened? Or... Yep. The shit. No, Krista.
Stop!
Whole family. That's 2 out of 3 kids. Whoa.
Just mass suicide. What the fuck?
What is happening?
What the fuck is this story?
Talk to me.
I'm beginning to think this kid is a mute or something. Can't talk, but can write. But
They are listening.
huh?
That's why he won't.
I can't tell you.
Oh, he can't talk.
You'll have to ask the creator.
The what?
Is this just The Sims or what?
Fucked
Like a pretty absurd,
up
grotesque.
real version of the of Sims. what do you know? Man.
Too much.
Come on. What the fuck is happening?
Waffen runter! Nein, ihr nehmt sie zuerst runter.
Far. Orkester.
Hans Park?
I know this, like, if you jump in after him, then probably can't, like, get out again. But if that happened, like, in the moment, me, I think I would have jumped as well, just to try and save my kid. Although, like, even if there was a very slim chance.
With you, Jonathan.
It seems like they're both so broken.
Mm.
Well, we don't really know about Oleg, what he's been up to.
Yeah, what he's been through. Yet, so many of the people on this ship. He's been through the ringer.
Don't be afraid.
Broken. And okay, now he's just... Open sesame. Yeah. Guess you're just gonna have to follow.
Down the rabbit hole.
Down the rabbit hole we go.
Is this the... Yeah, that was... Yeah.
It is. Huh. What the fuck is this?
Fuck!
She was not allowed... supposed to go down there?
It's closed. Oh, shit. Can you open it? Okay. Welcome to Diagon Alley.
Oh, damn.
You shouldn't have done that. It knows we're here now.
It?
It?
We've never made it this far. Maybe it will work this time.
The way to just going like... It's lost it. Oh shit, no, no! He's tying up both of them. Or it's because... So that they won't all of a sudden...
Yep.
Yeah.
Schnell, wir müssen sie festbinden.
Oh, she started doing it as well.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so that's Morse code, but previously that was...
Yeah, the triangles.
The triangles, yeah.
What is it saying? Sink ship.
Who did you say you were again?
It doesn't matter.
What was that?
Oh, a flashlight. Yeah, that's not a thing in 1899.
No, and...
No.
Stay away from me! If I don't turn that thing off, everything will start again. What are you talking about?
Oh no.
But you turned him off? What the fuck? Everything will happen again. Wow, we got some stuff to talk about in the discussion so far. If we even can. Talk about what the fuck's going on.
Where is my brother?
You're not asking all the right questions.
He found out, didn't he? Found out what you were doing here.
What?
Wake up.
Back on the fucking ship. What?
How did you do that? How did you just disappear?
The boy! That thing he had, the pyramid. I know that this sounds crazy, but he somehow stopped time with it.
You what?
I didn't tell you everything. Maura Franklin, that's not the name I was born with. Franklin is my mother's maiden name. I was born Maura Singleton.
As in the company that bought the ships.
I think that this is some kind of experiment. My father devoted his life to the study of human behavior. He's obsessed with understanding the brain and all its functions. I'm sure he did something to these ships to study the passengers on board. That envelope that you showed me, I received the same. I think it's from my brother.
Henry. It's addressed to your father.
Yeah.
It's short for Henriette, my middle name.
Oh.
It's what my brother used to call me.
Ah.
Can you help me with this?
Gonna go back in. Back out. Back. I don't. Is it even? Oh, okay. Oh, it's not even leading the same place. This is where he went. In that forest. Oh no, 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 no. Back to this shit.
Der Captain hat recht. Wir müssen den Kurs ändern. Zurück nach Europa.
He's got one as well.
Nichts, was für dich noch irgendeine Bedeutung hat.
And you turned him off.
Yeah.
So now what?
You think your father did all that? And the people out there dying? Did someone cause that too?
I'm not sure that they actually are dying. How can any of this be real?
Is it some kind of dream?
Whatever it is. I think I found out before, but he somehow made me forget again.
That list. Your name on it. It's not the only strange thing on there.
Hmm? What else?
His name?
Yeah.
This is my signature.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know how any of this is possible. I think I was the captain of the Prometheus.
Same things are happening again and again. It stopped.
Yeah.
Christa. It's gonna go. It's gonna go.
She's really gonna lose it now.
Sind das alle? Sind wir der Rest?
Well, of course. Now this guy. Sink ship.
Why would they send the same message again?
I don't think they mean the Prometheus.
No.
Sir, we just received an alert from Project Kerberos.
Project Kerberos.
Jeremy doesn't have much more time. He needs to bring me the boy.
Like Sabbath.
But that's a pyramid. That's not a that thing.
Is everything happening inside of that? Somehow? Or is he's using it for the... I don't... What the Wow, this episode really went for it.
It's probably just gonna get worse.
Yeah. This is like... So much happened in this one that made like the previous four seem like almost nothing happened in those. What the hell? All right, quick disclaimer. We had to take a little bit of a break right after watching the episode. So we'll just start with like recapping a little bit and then trying to get into some of the details here. Even though it's going to be difficult because that was one hell of an episode. Said it during the reaction that like it seemed like a lot happened in the first 4 episodes, but nothing compared to this one. It really got out there. story-wise, plot-wise. But of course, we still, have this ship full of people who've all been through a lot. They all have some sort of trauma, and it seems like they've all done something horrible, usually involving killing someone. And then they decided, okay, we're gonna get the hell out of here and go to America and get a new life. So that's, of course, still what's going on. That's still what's on the mind of a lot of these people, what they're dealing with. But then on top of that, it's like all of this weird stuff is just going on. And wow, this episode. We focus in again on Maura and jump back and forth between this mental hospital, her father, what's going on there, the injections, and then the whole wake up thing back on the ship. And that happened a couple of times during this episode. We also have the boy now talking, finally, saying some words and learning a little bit more about how he fits into it, or at least, of course he's important, we knew that. And then we have Daniel, who's got like some sort of control over the situation, but it doesn't seem like he's working with the people who are orchestrating this experiment. It seems like he's actively working against it. So I'm very curious about learning more about like how he ended up in this whole situation and how he got the button thing. What do we even call it?
Remote control?
The control panel thing. Because he's got one, and then that other guy, I don't know if we ever got a name, but the other guy who's on the ship, who's been receiving messages and pushing buttons and was kind of addressing everyone there at the top of the ship at the very end, whom we know is sort of in on it, or at least that's what we suspect. He's in on the experiment, right? And who else? Like, it doesn't seem like anyone else is really in on it, and we are like really focusing in on what's going on. You just seem very puzzled. Yeah, sorry, it just seems like there's something weird going on with the camera. Like it's like shaking a little bit, slightly, but it's standing perfectly still. Maybe it's has something to do with OBS, which is what I'm using to record. But anyway, we'll just continue. We have these like this core group of people on the ship, and we've been following them, and they were the only ones left at the very end. So why is that? Like, are they the ones who are being experimented on and the rest of them are merely NPCs?
Yeah, and that's kind of weird, right? Because we've been following people like
Krista?
Yeah, and Ling Yi's mother.
Yeah, that's right. Or at least they've been like it's not people that we've like really zoned in on in the way where we see some of their backstory, and it's usually always when there's someone else involved. Like, we never saw them alone, did we? Can't remember.
No, perhaps that's why we haven't seen the Danes yet.
Yeah, why we haven't like gone back in time to see what went wrong there, and because we got a little bit more of that in this episode as well, with Kresta and Tove talking together and mentioning that they've also killed someone, or Tove has, and several people perhaps, because she said them, and we have to put them behind us or something. Maybe she's talking about someone else, but at least that's a part of their past, or a part of her past, just like with some of the others, as we've mentioned, the past trauma and killing someone before getting here. So they've all done horrible, terrible things. Maybe they've all, like, now I'm just going out there a little bit, but maybe they've all done something terrible and actually gone crazy, gone mad, ended up in a mental hospital, and that's where they all are and experiencing this thing together which is inside of a big black pyramid and is being controlled by Henry Singleton, or like, is this episode spawned so many fucking questions.
Yeah.
And I can't even make heads or tails of it. We have these tunnels on the ship that will take them to other places that are sort of connected to their past.
I think it seems like we've only seen like two landscapes, because that's what they call it, a landscape within the shaft. But we've only seen two, and both of them are connected to trauma.
Yeah.
So perhaps it's the root of their trauma that they're visiting, and the ship is merely means to
connect them to
that, or like perhaps it's more in a metaphorical way, perhaps.
Yeah.
That is like a metaphor for taking them to the.
Yeah, we've also seen with Ling Yi, but that wasn't through a tunnel. That was like the fog enveloping her, and then all of a sudden she was back in her trauma.
Yeah, but she didn't move her her bed to find
no.
So we don't know if both her, and we have also seen Lucien and Jérôme's
that's right
as well, but they have also not been
going down a whole
and everything, and from like, well, they wouldn't know where to look, right? Because why would they look under the beds?
Yeah, but it's at least telling me that this experiment is possibly, most likely, centered around the trauma or what these people did, and coming to terms with it, accepting it, facing it somehow. And then we also have the whole thing with, they've done it before, like on the other ship, on the Prometheus. And it's kind of a loop. So it's sort of happening again now, and some of the same things are happening. And this whole thing with sink ship. And that's how we ended the episode, with them receiving the message that, again, sink ship. Not talking about the Prometheus, but talking about the ship that they're on, the Cabos. And we even, like, the guy who handed something to Henry Singleton was also calling it the Cabos experiment. Project, yeah, sorry. And that's one of the things that we noticed very early on with the Prometheus. As soon as they got on it, it looked like it had been underwater already. It had already been sunk. So is that what's about to happen with the Cabos? It's about to sink, and then they're all gonna seemingly die, but get respawned on a new ship, the third ship, because they bought 3 ships, the company.
Perhaps they're not gonna, because we've seen the boy, how he ended up within the cupboards. So perhaps they are able to they're supposed to be taken away from the ship, and then it all starts over, because it seems like, well, where Henry,
the father,
Maura's father, it seems like he has an objective with this. Of course he has, because we've been told in this one that he's so obsessed with the brain and how it works that he's willing to do all these crazy experiments. But that objective seems like it's definitely different than Daniel's and the boys. And well, now we know that Henry is out for the boy, after the boy. And Daniel also talked a little bit about, like, he's not gonna find you.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's obviously Henry, because they know he's looking for them.
Yeah. So the boy is somehow not the key to all of this, but he's a very important factor in all of this and whatever power struggle is happening between Henry and Daniel. Because again, it seems like Daniel is working actively against what Henry wants, what's going on with this project, this experiment. But who is Daniel? And who is the boy? That's a really good question, because they are very much linked to Maura, but she doesn't remember everything. Like, far from it. Like, she's forgotten a lot. Like, she knows some things about herself. She knows who she is. That Maura Franklin is not her real name, of course. It's Maura Singleton. She is Henry's daughter. And then finding out, okay, but Maura Franklin was also on the Prometheus, and it was signed by Ike Larsen. Is that his name? Larsen?
Larsen or Larsen?
Larsen, yeah. So he was also the captain on that ship. So he's been a part of this as well, all the way through. Could Daniel actually be her brother then?
I was thinking that, but there seemed to be some sort of gentleness. It could definitely be. So it's either her brother or
her husband.
Husband, yeah.
Yeah, they don't look related necessarily.
They don't look related. And again, as I was saying, the gentleness there. It seems like there's some sort of like intimacy that goes beyond siblings.
Yeah, the way he's looking at her as well, and like the picture, and
yeah, exactly. And that shot with the hands, where you could definitely see it looked like a scorch mark from a ring.
Oh yeah, a wedding ring. Yeah.
It was on the wedding rings. I don't know how if engagement is that on right and then wedding is on left, or is it the other way around?
We should know, we're married, but no, we don't. Yeah, and then the boy. It can't be her kid, their kid, because she had a miscarriage.
Or did she?
Or did she? We just know that at least from what she said, she can't get pregnant anymore because she had a miscarriage and all that. But is that really what happened? Because now we can't trust her memory. So who do we trust?
And perhaps the kid was taken away, and it was just like told that like the way it was. They told her is that hey, you had a miscarriage. No, you took away your child. Perhaps he did it to experiment on the child, or because experimenting. Perhaps because there was she tried to explain with her brother that he was afraid that she was gonna turn into their father.
That's right, yeah.
And perhaps the father wanted her to succeed him.
Oh,
and that's why perhaps he took away the kid, or wants to take away the kid, because then
he can control her, or
and then she can continue what he built or what he's doing.
And she has education, like she's a doctor.
Yeah.
And she said that like she was a doctor at this mental hospital, but then all of a sudden she's a patient now. Yeah, sure.
Perhaps it was the miscarriage. Sorry, that's quotation marks. But perhaps it was the miscarriage that made her a patient, or the trauma surrounding that.
Yeah.
And then perhaps that's how Daniel wants to save her, is to like, hey, you have a family, you have me, you have the kid.
Which is something that your father has been pulling you away from, or manipulating you into thinking that you don't, by doing these experiments or whatever. And then again, as you mentioned, there's the whole relationship just between the father and Maura and her brother, where he always favored her, and that's why her middle name is Henriette. Henriette.
Henrietta.
Yes, so that was like something that we then learned, because we always thought that weird that her letter is actually addressed to Henry, her father, but no, it's not, because that's what her brother always called her, because that was her middle name, and she got that because yada yada yada. And then those 4 months with being missing, and like, what is time even in this? Because is it even like, it's called 1899, but is it really happening in 1899, this experiment? Most likely not, because we've seen technology that really was not around at that time, and got another confirmation of that when Daniel was down and messing with that board there, and this guy who I can't remember the name of, but one of the few people who didn't go into zombie mode and just started walking, he saw that Daniel had a flashlight, a small kind of modern looking flashlight, and was like, what's that? What the fuck is that? So
yeah, and we saw when we went to the mental hospital, when we saw, or wherever that was, with the father, where he sat in what looked like a huge, like, kind of office, and there was all these electronic devices. It looked a bit like so. I haven't been alive, so I would. It's looked a bit like 80s stuff.
Oh, you weren't alive in the 80s.
Yeah, so I can't say that it looked like the 80s, but it looked a bit like at least some old computers from around the time, perhaps before like 70s. I don't know.
Gonna have to look at that again.
Yeah. So it looks like we're not around this day and age in 2022, but
at least not 1899.
Yeah, exactly.
We can agree on that. Did we learn anything else during this episode? One quick thing that comes to mind for me is just Jerome. He's not there to kill Lucian necessarily, or do any, like, he came there to save them, or maybe not initially. That was just now. I don't know. And that's also like, how does all of that fit in? Questions, a lot of fucking questions, especially with this episode now and where we are. And we are very much supposed to be confused and asking a lot of questions, because now it's really, really, really getting out there, and it's mysterious, and it's supernatural and sci-fi fantasy-like in many aspects.
Yeah. Someone mentioned that Ike talked about like 3 ships, that Henry Singleton bought 3 ships.
Yeah.
And one is the Prometheus, one is Cerberus, and then there's a third one.
Yes, yeah.
So definitely when they sink, we'll have to see everything starting over again.
Exactly. As I said, like, we had the Prometheus and everything happened there. Now it looks like the same thing is happening on Cerberus, and then they bought 3 ships, so it can happen a third time. That'll be season 2 then. I don't know.
So what end we won't know until it happens. But.
Yeah, and if it's going the way that Dark did, we're not gonna really learn the truth of what is actually going on until the very, very end of the series, that's gonna be a little while before we get there.
Yeah, it was a bit. I see how people were like, it's a bit of a Deus Ex Machina, or at least
it came out of nowhere, sort of a deal.
Claudia, she came out of nowhere with the whole explanation, and it's like, oh, okay.
So that's really what's going on. None of this is real, or it is, but it's not the real world, and what the fuck.
Stuff like that,
Yeah. So we could, it could end up like that again, for sure, with this series. But we're enjoying the ride, nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
Love a good mystery, even though we get confused and our brains are just like mush at the end of each episode.
Yeah.
Especially this one.
Because we got so much new stuff. So much, I don't know, information.
Information overload.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I noticed that we also saw the pyramid, where we expect, one theory is that everything is happening within the pyramid.
Yeah, the one that Henry was looking at also at the very end, looking out the window.
Yes, and that's a pyramid because it has a square bottom. And then I realized what the
object that the boy is walking around with.
It's kind of a pyramid, but not really, because it's... but it is. It's called. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly, because I've only learned it in Danish. tetrahedron or tetrahedron. I don't know. It basically
tetrahedron. Yeah.
Well, tetra means 4, and hedron is possibly like sides or like
Yeah. So there are 4 sides, but like including the bottom.
Yeah, and they are equally sized.
Yes.
I remember this from chemistry actually. From inorganic chemistry, where it's like when the atoms place themselves around like a core atom, they can make these different shapes, and we were supposed to say what kind of shape these molecules had based on their chemical formula.
Mm.
And I remember the tetrahedron because methane, I think it's called methane.
Methane?
It's a tetrahedron because it points out in 4 different directions.
Got it.
But with like equal space between them.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how I remember, because I think they also had like a pyramid stuff or like a double pyramid thing, or I just remember there was a lot of that. But
yes.
Yeah.
Might get into some of that as well. Like
Perhaps.
That might be an inspiration to some of the stuff that's going on with the plot.
Yeah.
The mystery, the fantasy, sci-fi stuff, rooted in something real, something related to physics or chemistry or and surely also related to the brain, because that's a big thing inside of this. That's what the whole experiment is about. That's what Henry is obsessed with. That's what kind of Dr. Maura is, like specialized in the brain as well, right? Or at least she mentioned.
At least she said that she had a specific interest in
the brain. That's true. And
so we don't know if she's a neurologist or she's just a normal doctor.
Yeah. All right, I think we should wrap this one up. Danish word of the day, the title. This one was The Calling, which in Danish is...
Kaldet.
Yes.
So again, we have the article. So the is translated on the back of the word to it. So it kaldet. So like a calling. And then kaldet.
A call?
No, I think...
or maybe, a calling, the calling, and then it kaldet.
Yes.
But it could also, sometimes it's not easy just translating stuff directly.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, but that's the closest that, at least when it comes to this title, that's the calling kaldet.
But you know, you get that... now we could get into the episode again, but like you get this calling, and it's a bit like, I think that's how you would translate it directly, is like it kaldet.
Yeah.
So you have this, like there's something that is calling for you.
Yeah.
And for this one, it could mean a lot of different things. It could mean that a ticking sound. That completely hypnotized these people to throw themselves overboard. That could be the calling. We also learned about, Tove said about Eben that she was that she meant like she was crazy because she heard God's voice inside her head, and she's like, these voices, they aren't real. It's like she's she's sick, right?
Yeah.
And I said dissociation. It's like dissociation means that you can't tell what's real and what's not. So you live in this, like, you dissociate from the world, basically. And it's, I think schizophrenia is a classical example of when you hear voices, kind of like I can't remember the exact about. Sorry, I don't want to talk about stuff like I'm not sure about. But I think it's schizophrenia, where it's this classical example of when you hear voices that's not there.
It's not multiple personality disorder. Like that's something else.
No, that's something else.
Yeah.
Here you hear voices, like it's like you have there's like a sensory input that isn't real. I think it's also connected to psychosis. It can be, I think. I can't remember exactly like the neurological basis for it. But at least with schizophrenia, you get all these inputs. At least that's the theory, that you get all these inputs, and it seems like you get, like the brain is basically just getting a lot of inputs, and they see like dots. And for neurotypical people, these dots will then, when you connect them, will give you a certain reality that is real, like that's our reality. But for a person with schizophrenia, these dots, when you connect them, is suddenly giving you another picture than
that's
what is
not reality.
Real. Yeah. And so I would like to see it more in you see reality differently.
Yeah, because what is reality?
But it's also like, then you suddenly see things that might not be there, and you might hear voices that are not there and stuff like that. So there's a lot to that.
It's complicated.
It's complicated, and it kind of fits well into this
narrative.
Yeah, this story that's being told, especially about the brain and the mind, and how if you connect the dots, you'll get a totally different picture.
Yes, it can be confusing as all hell, which is the same goes once again for the plot, the story, this series, and I'm sure it's going to get even more confusing. Going to have way more questions. More and more questions are going to pop up. Another one that I just thought of is who's in the grave?
Yeah.
Who is that?
Is that the brother?
Is that the brother? Is that her? Or like, I don't know, is that the boy, or like her supposed miscarriage, or like what? Who's in the grave? At least it's very much tied to her trauma. And then there was something else I wanted to mention. I can't even remember what that was. Oh yeah. Like, was it Daniel who said that, or was it Maura who said that? Like, they're not quite sure whether or not all these people who've died on the ship and jumped overboard, if they are actually dead or not, and
if they're actually real.
And that got me thinking if they're actually real.
But didn't they just straight out say, but are they actually real?
Oh, like, maybe.
Or question.
Yeah, maybe they did. Oh yeah, shit. Again, let's just wrap it up, and we'll continue the series, and maybe we'll get some answers along the way. Do you have anything else you want to add to it?
No, I'm too tired.
Fair enough. That's going to do it then for this reaction and review of 1899 Season 1, Episode 5, The Calling. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and we will see you very soon. Bye.
Bye.